Okay, we're going to try to go through real quick how to use pygame to draw a few of the shapes that are required for the vPet application and graphics assignment. So for today, I'm going to use Illustrator to do a quick mock-up, and I know my board is 600 by 500. My screen that I have to work with in the code that's already given to you. So I'm going to create an artboard in Illustrator with that, and I'm going to grab, let's do, what should we do here? I'll do a square. I'm just going to do a big old head. I'm not going to do a whole pet, just a head. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to make its width exactly 300 and its height 250, and I'm going to center it in the artboard, and then I'm going to let's do a couple of ellipses for the ears. Let's see, I don't know how this is going to look. This is going to look a little more like Mickey Mouse than a pet. This is going to look kind of like a strange pet. That's okay. So I'm going to take and copy that one over here. And I have two ears, and then I'm going to have an ellipse, or I mean a curved line. Now, a curved line drawn in pygame, it actually uses an ellipse. So that's what I'm going to draw here. I'm going to draw an ellipse, and then I'm going to so this is going to be a frown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that I'm just going to draw from this point to this point-ish. And really Illustrator doesn't really help us a whole lot with doing curved lines, but you get the idea. So I'll move this out of the way for now. Let's get the head and the ears in place first. I guess maybe I should have done eyeballs instead of ears, because that would make more sense with these. Huh? Let's do that. So I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to size them down to like that, and I'm going to move them down, something like that. So let's try this square first. So I'm going to get the points off of this square. I need the X and Y coordinate of that top left corner, so I'm going to write it down. So I see my X is 150, and my Y is 125, and then I need the width and the height. So I'm going to come up here and hit transform, and I see my width is 300 and my height is 250. So now I'm going to come into my pygame, my draw. I already have some old code here. I'm going to throw some of it away because we're starting over a little bit. And that's where I'm going to be doing my work right there, is in the head. So let's do some right here in the head. I should have deleted all that first. Okay, so I'm going to tab over, and I'm going to say, now I know what I need to do because pygame tells me everything in here. If I come to pygame.org docs ref draw.html, this gives me all of the things that I can draw. And in our case, we're drawing a rectangle. So I'll click on rect, and here we are, the instructions on how to draw a rectangle. So I'm going to take this code right here, I'm going to copy and paste it into my editor, and I'm going to comment it out. I'm just going to use it for reference. So I can say pygame.draw. Those are the class declarations, and then I can go ahead and call the rect method within the draw class. And I need surface, and mine's a lowercase surface, so I'm going to do a lowercase because that's what's being passed in right here. And a color, I already know I have a color. I have a head color. No, I don't have I have a body color. I'm going to use the body color. And then I have a rect, and we'll define that here in a second. And then I have a width, and I want my width to be 0 because I want it to fill. So again, if we leave our fill right here at 0, then if we leave our stroke width, that's what this is a stroke width. We find that out from here, right? It says that width is, our width argument is in thickness to draw the outer edge. If width is 0, then the rectangle will be filled. So I'm going to leave it at 0 so it fills the rectangle instead of just drawing an outline, the stroke of it. But I'm not sure what that rect is. What is a rect? It doesn't really tell me right here. It says it's the area of the rectangle, but that doesn't help me. What format does it need to be in? I'm going to hit comments and go into here and see if I can find an example of what a rect would be. And I'm sure there's a few here that I'm probably skipping. I'm not seeing any. So there's a rect right there. All of those are. That's one, but I'm trying to get one that makes a little more sense. So here's telling us what the rect is. The first number is the top left rectangle, the x coordinate. Second number is the y coordinate. The third number is the width, and then the length, or the width and height is what I would normally call that. So come in here, and my rect then, I'm going to define it right here, needs to be, I already took these numbers down. My x coordinate is 150, my y coordinate is 125, my width is 300, and my height is 250. Okay, so just with that much information, let's see if we can get this to draw. So I'm going to come to my draw happy, and I'm going to say draw up head, and I'm going to pass to it surface. So now I'm going to come into my terminal, and I'm going to see if I'm going to run that, and I have an error. It says expected an indent block. So I'm missing an indentation somewhere. This is a good example because a lot of times you'll get these kind of errors. I'm assuming that maybe it's because of this. I didn't look at the error good enough. But right now I'm just looking at my code and seeing what possibly needs to happen. I don't need that return right there, but I'm going to throw it in because it looks nicer. And then I probably have some problems with these because they're function definitions, but there's nothing's going on with them, so I'm going to just take those out for now. And we'll bump over here, back over here, and run it and see if it works. And it didn't. Rect is not defined. I'm on line 30. It says rect is not defined. So let's go over to line 30. Oh, I'm sorry. I need a little equals right there. I'm sure all of you guys were like, hello. Okay, so there I have a cool square head, and I'm started on my trail to awesomeness. So I'm going to quit that, and we'll go back over here to Illustrator. So now I got the head, so let's do these eyeballs now. So for each eyeball, I'm going to hover over. Now an ellipse in Illustrator, in Pygame, is drawn with an imaginary rectangle, kind of like it's shown here with the bounding box. You pass it a rect. At least I think you do. Let's go to the Pygame. I know with ellipses you do, but can you do? Oh, you can do a circle. So a circle just needs a position and a radius. Oh, that's cool. Let's try that then. So let's go back over to our Illustrator. So all I need is this point here, which is, I'm going to write this down. It's 246, 204. And then this one is 353, 204. And then my radius. So my radius would be half of my width. So if I came up here and looked at my width is 57. So if I took half of that, let's just call it 28. We'll do a radius of 28 on both of those and see how they look. So let's go back over to our editor and let's play with that. So let's create a new function called draw. I'm just going to call it eyes for now. Probably need to have some better descriptor than that, but we'll just do that for now. So draw eyes. I'm going to go back over here to Pygame, and I'm going to grab this example that they're listing. I'm going to copy it and paste it into my code as reference so I can look at it one. putting this code in, pygame.draw circle, and I need to pass to it surface. I need to pass it to a color, and I'm going to use eye color. And then I have a position, which that first eyeball is 246, comma 204, and this needs to be in a tuple, so we have parentheses around it. And then a radius, which we decided our radius was 28, and then a width. I'm going to give it a stroke of, I don't know, let's try, well, let's do fill, so let's do 0 for now. So I'm going to just give it a return, so I have a bookend there. And let's go back over to our terminal and run that and see what happens. Okay. I don't see it here. Oh, why don't I see it? Because I forgot to call. So right here we need to call draw eyes. Happens to me all the time. Okay, there we have a pretty blue eyeball. So let's go ahead and do the second one. So if I were doing really good documentation, I'd put a note right here saying draw the left eye, and then draw the right eye. For this one, I'm just going to take this code and copy it, and then all I got to do is change this number right here, right, which is 353. Everything else stays the same. And I can come over here, I can hit quit, and I can run the code again, and now I got 2 eyeballs. Cool. So now let's do an ellipse. Ellipses are a little bit harder because they're kind of hard to conceptualize. So if I go into Illustrator and I bring this back up, what I'm wanting to do is draw just a portion of this ellipse. So I have the ellipse, you know, looking about like I want it to look, as far as if I just had this portion drawn, that would look like a pretty good frown to me. So I'm going to position it where I think I want it. I'm going to go ahead and center, make sure it's centered. And then what I'm going to do is I need to grab the coordinates of the rectangle that would be surrounding this. I need the x, y at this corner, and then I need the width and the height. So I know that the y value at this corner and the y value right here are the same. So I'm just going to grab this y value. So I'm going to say that my y value is 303. And I know that the x value right here is the same all the way up and down. So I'm going to grab the x value here, which is 189. So and then my width and height I can get up here, the transform. My width is 220. And my height is 143. Okay, so now I'm going to come back into my editor, and well, first we're going to grab the example from Pygame, and here's the ellipse example. So I'm going to grab that, come back into here, and so I'm going to create a draw frown. And it's going to take the surface, and then I'm going to paste my example code in there. So I'm going to first do this for pygame.draw ellipse takes the surface. I'm going to use I think I have a mouth color, I do, and then I'm going to pass it in a rect and a stroke of 2. Let's do a stroke of 2. So then I need to make this rect, right? So our rect then is 189, comma, oh, I missed some stuff, but we'll go back and fix it. 303, 220 is what I have written down, and 143. So what I'm missing is, well, not ellipse. See, this is what I'm sorry, guys. I'm not drawing an ellipse, I'm drawing a curve, right? Arc right here. This is what I want to draw. Anybody getting lost yet? I am. Okay, so where are we? Right here. I'm going to exchange this for that. So I do need the rect still. I need surface, I need color, I need a rect, and then I need a start angle, stop angle, and then my stroke. So up here I need a start angle equals something, a stop angle equals something, and then I'm good to go. So let's go figure out those angles. And just so happens I've already found a cool little diagram that shows us what angles are in radians. So radians, this has an example of both degrees and radians. Radians are these first numbers, so 0, 15, or not radians, degrees are these first numbers. Here's 0, here's 15 degree angle, here's 30 degree, here's 45, here's 60, and so forth. Radians are the second number right here. So 0 is still, this is still 0 radians. Then this is pi divided by 12 is right here. Pi divided by 6 is right there. Pi divided by 4 is right there. Pi divided by 3, and so forth. So I want my frown to go from about pi divided by 4 to 3 pi divided by 4. So I'm going to come back into here, and I'm going to say my start angle is math.pi divided by 4, and then this one's 3 times math.pi divided by 4. So that should be pretty close to what I want. So let's jump over here and hit quit. Oh, did I call it? I did not call it, so I want to call it right here, right? Draw frown, and pass to it surface, and jump over here and run the code again, and we have an error. Rect is not defined. Rect, oh, so I did it again, guys. Equals. See, I'm just trying to make you guys feel better. And takes at most 4 arguments, 6 given. So what did we do wrong here? Surface, color, rect, start angle, stop angle, width. Let's look at our code. So line 48, 6 given. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm still calling the ellipse code. I'm just really trying to make you guys feel better when you make mistakes. Okay, so see that beautiful frown we just made? So if we wanted to play with that, we come back over to our little diagram and say, well, what if I want it to go all the way down to here on one side? So we could change that stop angle to 11 pi divided by 12. And let's do that. 11 pi divided by 12. And we run it, and we see now we got a little bit of an awkward, crooked, weird frown. But anyway, that's an example of how to do a square, a circle, and a arc. I hope that was helpful. Thanks.